Hello, sixth graders. How's it going? I'm sorry I can't be there with you today. I am at Northdale, so I hope you guys are very respectful to your sub, whoever that person may be. All right, so we're going to do a quick little review of what we talked about last time in class. So, again, we're talking about alcohol right now. And this is a drug that's found in beer, wine, and liquor. It causes people to act and feel differently. And we talked last time about how one beer, one shot of liquor, and one glass of wine is about the same amount of alcohol. So when we say one drink, we're talking about any one of those three things. All right, we also know that alcohol is a depressant, so it's the opposite of a stimulant. So, stimulant is like nicotine or caffeine that speeds up your body's function. Alcohol is something that slows everything down. So, it's going to slow down the messages from your brain to the rest of your body. It ends up making people very tired. We talked about how there's some other drugs that are also depressants, like sleeping pills or some cold medicines. All right. So there is such thing as moderate drinking, and some of you might know people who are moderate drinkers. That's a person who is 21 or older and they have no more than one or two drinks per day. And we say that for a biological female, they would be a moderate drinker if they're having no more than one drink a day. And for a biological male, they're having no more than two drinks per day. And there's a lot of people who drink moderately, and during our lesson, again, we're not focused on the moderate drinking because that's not a huge problem in society. So we're talking about when it goes beyond moderate drinking. And when a person drinks more than one drink per hour, because we know that's how fast our liver can process and break down the alcohol, it can turn into binge drinking. That's when a person is drinking more alcohol than what your liver can handle. And that's drinking faster than one drink per hour. And this leads to intoxication, which is the word that we're using instead of drunk. Remember, when your liver gets overwhelmed with the alcohol, all that extra alcohol just goes right into your blood, goes up to your brain, and goes to all the different parts of your body. Blood alcohol concentration is the percentage of alcohol that is found in your blood. And so we talked a little bit last time about how sometimes if somebody gets pulled over while they're driving, they might have to breathe into one of these breathalyzers, and it's going to measure the percentage of that person's blood that is alcohol. And we know that if a person has too much of their blood that's alcohol, it's called alcohol poisoning. And that can sometimes lead to unconsciousness or even death because they just have too much of that poison in their blood. Their body just can't handle it. We talked a little bit about how the blood alcohol concentration could get a person arrested if it is 0.08%, and at 0.4%, death might even occur. That would be alcohol poisoning. Okay, we watched this video last time about Alyssa. Some of the short-term physical effects of alcohol. So first of all, vomiting can sometimes happen. That's your body's way of rejecting the alcohol and trying to get it out of your system. Your liver is trying to get rid of the alcohol as fast as it can, but it can only go so fast. It can only process one alcoholic drink an hour. So all that extra alcohol is going to go into the blood. Slower reaction time. So your brain is sending messages a lot slower because alcohol is a depressant. Poor balance, slurred speech, and poor decisions. And this is more of a mental emotional issue that happens. That part of our brain that's the very front of our brain is going to be impaired. So the person is going to do things, say things that they would never do if they weren't intoxicated. And that can get people into a lot of serious trouble. And that's what we saw last time with Alyssa's story. So last time we didn't get into long-term effects of alcohol. So, one of them is problems with learning and memory. So, we talked about this with nicotine too. When people have an addiction or are binge drinking when their brains are still developing, so they're under 25, their brains are not yet developed, it can permanently impact their brains with those areas of learning and memory. And that has been proven to happen over time. So, again, very, very important to not be experimenting with types of chemicals before your brain is fully developed. Okay, second thing that we have that's a big problem is cirrhosis. So, cirrhosis, it's kind of a tough word to spell. This is when the liver has been working so hard for so long that it starts to get destroyed and scarred, and it basically ends up shutting down. So, I'm going to show you a couple pictures. This is over here what a healthy liver looks like. There's my cool arrows. Your healthy liver is nice and smooth. It's pink. It shouldn't have to be working that hard. It's just there in case. A person with cirrhosis, they've been abusing alcohol for so long, their liver is just worn out. So it's been damaged. It has all these little bumps you can see on there are scars. So it's been damaged and then it's healed and then it's been damaged again. And again, eventually the liver just shuts down. And there are people who have cirrhosis that get on lists to get a transplant, a liver transplant, to wait for a healthy liver. And the problem is they don't have a lot of those healthy livers to go around because they have to wait till somebody healthy dies that has a healthy liver. So sometimes people end up waiting on those lists for a very long time. Another long-term effect is an alcohol use disorder. So this is any disorder where there's an addiction. We call this alcoholism also. Or when a person's alcohol use interferes with their health, their responsibilities at school, work, or home. So for some people, they go through those stages of addiction and they're at dependence and they have to drink alcohol every single day, or they go into withdrawal and they start feeling really sick. And then once they drink the alcohol, those feelings go away. So just like nicotine, alcohol is addictive. And there are people that have addictions to alcohol that have to drink alcohol every single day. There's also people that just have an alcohol use disorder. They binge drink. They drink too much. And when they drink and they get intoxicated, it interferes with their relationships, their job, their health, and just their daily life. And it's causing a big problem for them. And so there's almost kind of like two types of alcohol use disorders. There's the addiction, and then there's the person where the person is just abusing the alcohol, getting intoxicated, and it's causing a lot of major problems for them. All right. We're going to do one assignment here. This is on slide 13. It is your alcohol lesson M, as in Maryland. And I'm going to ask you to come up with, think about those alcohol use disorders. What might be a mental, emotional, long-term effect of a person with an alcohol use disorder? And what might be one social effect of alcohol use disorders? Now, there's going to be hundreds of different answers. So I want you to just think of something. Remember, when we say mental, emotional, we're talking about your brain and we're talking about your feelings. So how might alcohol use disorder impact your brain or your emotions? And then how might it impact your relationships? And by the way, if you can't think of one for the actual person, you could also think of an effect on one of their family members. And some of you might know this firsthand because you may actually live with a person that has an alcohol use disorder. All right, so 2 minutes to write that down, and then we're going to share, and then we are going to hear from our Know the Truth speakers who could not be here in person, but we do have a video from them, so we will be watching that next. All right, you can go ahead and start filling in these yellow boxes. Have a great day. I will see you next time.